Okay guys, so I just rolled in here. It's about 6:30 in the morning, and as you can tell, if we look over here behind the corn, the sun is starting to come up and we're back into this sort of heat dome again. So I think what we're gonna do, because we have such an abundance of hot wax peppers and red peppers now that everything's starting to come in, is we're going to make a hot pepper sweet, I guess sweet hot red pepper yellow pepper jelly or jam, and we're gonna smoke a ham today outside in the smoker, keeping the heat out of the house. So that's my agenda today. We're just gonna start harvesting some of these red peppers. Gorgeous. Look at the color. Really, really nice peppers. We're gonna harvest some of these and then we're gonna stick it all together in the food processor, blend it all up, simmer it down, have some of it with the smoked ham, and then we're gonna can whatever's left of the hot pepper jelly for the winter. So let's get to it. So I have to work left or right to left in here just because there's just so many peppers stuck in the middle here. Up some of these plants. And the more we harvest off of these plants, the more hot peppers are gonna set. Take one of these guys here. I need my scissors. Peppers are actually just going crazy now with the coloring because of the heat. What a beautiful red. It's so funny. Sometimes they stay chocolate on one side, almost like a chocolatey green, and then all of a sudden, you know, you turn it over, you got this fiery red. It's kind of cool. We're going to add that. It's going to make some cool colors in our jelly for the day. Ooh, this one's good. Awesome. Let's see if we got any others down here. I'm just going to walk on through. Oop, leaves are in the way. Here we go. Let's take these guys. Awesome. And I dropped one here. So we're gonna make some really cool jelly today. And my goal is, you know, to use a pint on top of or just in addition to the ham, but at the same time can the rest of it for the winter, because sometimes in the winter you just get so blah with some of the meals. I know one of the meals I was tired of last winter was chicken. Every day it was, well, every other day it was chicken, because the meat prices even at that point were so expensive. Trying to make, you know, a roast here and there with red meat was like a treat. Let's see here. Okay, so let's get these guys. We're not gonna make too much relish. Whoops, that one just came right on. We're not gonna make too much, just enough to get a couple of pints. How small this guy is. Oh, I'm gonna take this guy. So if you like sort of sweet hot, that's what we're gonna be adding to the ham. So there we go. So I'm gonna pick just a little bit more hot wax peppers, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna pulse it up in the food processor, and then we're going to toss it into the slow cooker, because I'm gonna let it simmer down for a couple of hours while I get the rest of the chores done around the homestead, and then we're gonna turn it into jelly jam, I guess. And in the meantime of all that, we'll put the ham in the smoker. So quickly, just before I'm leaving, I only ever sit this thermometer inside the greenhouse just to see how hot it is on inside here. So it's 19 already. So it's gonna get super hot in here today. Yesterday, the temperature inside the greenhouse, even with all the fans rolling, was about 45 degrees Celsius. So I'm surprised that the plants are doing as well as they are with the heat. But as you can see, Everything is doing relatively well. Nothing is, right now everything's happy because it's cooler, but they've been holding up relatively well through the heat. And all of my cucumbers are sort of turning into this wall. Brussels sprouts back there at least reaching 5 feet. The corn is holding on to the purple beans, so that's doing okay. And the cucumbers, the other set of cucumbers I have, is now starting to climb the wall as well. Always have to have a seat in here to sit down. There are just days where you need to sit in here, even at night, with a coffee. Okay, I'm done rambling. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn on the fans in here. See if we can keep it a little bit cooler. Just very quickly before the sun blinds me here. Here are 3 of my fans at the top running to keep out the heat. And one more. Okay, let's go make some smoked ham and hot red pepper jam jelly. I was just jumping out with the peppers to go up to the house to start processing, and I just wanted to show you this. So I do have deer netting up here around the whole garden because I'm getting a lot of deer lately, but I have this one deer that comes in with her baby, and she puts her face, leans her face down over my deer netting and starts eating my potato leaves. So as you can tell, all these where I had flowers, you know, the last couple of days are gone. My potatoes are chewed. The tops of the potatoes. They won't die, but I just wanted to show you the damage that some of the deer are doing. And when you put this much hard work into everything, see, she's chewed everything. It sometimes can be really frustrating with just with the animals. It's not just as simple sometimes. It's just, you know, putting in a crop and then watching it grow and enjoying it. We're always fighting the animals here too because it's so wild here. So what I'm gonna have to do is raise the deer netting up higher so that she can't put her face and lean into the crop. So I just wanted to show you that. She's chewed all of that off. It's always a challenge, but anyways, just wanted to point that out, that yep, we're experiencing what a lot of you are experiencing that are growing gardens, trying to keep wildlife. And my problem is the deer. The bear hasn't even given me any problems, it's the deer. So deer are beautiful. I love watching them, but they're really destructive. So now that we're inside, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna make a little marinade for the ham while we smoke it. I saw a recipe a long time ago on, I think it's called AmazingRibs.com, don't quote me, but we really liked the sauce that was on there. It was a Kansas City barbecue sauce. So essentially what I've done is I've just pre-prepared it, just because I had it written down. But if you're gonna do something like that, because you know, you got your ham, but it's kind of plain, you wanna smoke it and let it marinate and get nice and soft in the marinade. So basically what I've done is I've done 2 tablespoons of chili powder. I've done a teaspoon of ground black pepper. We did salt, 2 cups of ketchup. I did grainy mustard, so I did a half a cup of grainy mustard, if you have any. Half a cup of cider vinegar, a 1/3 cup of Worcestershire sauce. I skipped the lemon juice just because I'm gonna be putting on some hot peppers later, and those tend to be pretty tart. 1/4 cup of steak sauce, and then we're going to be doing a 1/4 cup of dark molasses. I used a 3/4 cup of brown sugar. Had to think about that one for a minute. I skipped the hot sauce. Normally there's hot sauce that goes in this, but because we're doing hot peppers sort of in a relish, I just don't want to overdo it. And then basically what you do is you put in 3 tablespoons of vegetable oil, and if you want, you can top the ham with onions, but I'm going to skip that step because there's probably going to be onions in the peppers too. So basically all we're doing at the moment is we're just going to mix all this down. And I need a little bit more chili. I'm going to add a smidge of more chili in mine. We're going to mix this all down, and then what we're going to do is we're going to pop the ham into the smoker. And this is going to marinate it while it's cooking. Okay, now you can either, I have something under the ham, you can pour it on if you want to and then sort of, smooth it around, or you can paint it on. I don't know. I kind of like things messy sometimes. So just gonna pour a little bit of this on. Oh, it smells so good. And we're just gonna move it around the ham. Trust me, a smoked ham with some Kansas City barbecue sauce on it, it's awesome. And basically, guys, once you have your marinade on, and you have it to the way that you want it, we're gonna be using some of that on steak probably this week at some point. So once you have enough marinade on there and what you feel is gonna be enough for you, now what you're gonna do is you're gonna pop it into the smoker and you're gonna leave it in there for about 4 to 5 hours to smoke. And then what you'll find is after about 4 to 5 hours at about 300, your ham will just fall apart, and it's awesome. You want to check on it in between to make sure, obviously, that it's still moist, and you definitely want to check and make sure that you're still getting enough smoke in there. But we're just going to pop this baby into the smoker, and then we're going to move on to the peppers. And really, really quickly, if you want to, what I've done is, just for fun, is you can take a handful of brown sugar and you can sprinkle it on the top and just make sure that the brown sugar soaks in the Kansas City barbecue sauce on the top. And what that will do is that'll give you a nice sort of brown, sweet crust on the top of the ham in conjunction with the smoke. Awesome. So we're gonna put that out there now. Okay, so my smoker is sitting at about 291 degrees Fahrenheit. I've turned on the smoke. You basically just push the button on and you push forward one of your discs so that it will begin to smoke, and that'll take a few minutes. But in the meantime, what we can do, hot. You open up your smoker. Let's see. You just pop this in here. And it's ready to go. Now, if you want, you can put a timer on, of course, on your smoker. So we're gonna do the oven timer. We're gonna turn it up to 5 hours, set, and we're good to go. So now we're gonna leave that in there and let it do its thing, and check on it periodically, but in the meantime, do the peppers. Okay guys, so for the next step here, what you want to do is you want to take all the peppers that you got and you want to take all the seeds out and just chop them up loosely. You should have about 2 cups of peppers by the time that you're done when you chop them up. So that's what I'm going to be doing right now, is just taking out chopping them up, taking out all the seeds, tossing them to make sure I have 2 cups here, and then putting them into the food processor. So I'm just going to do that now. So guys, once we're finished chopping, we should have about 2 cups of the hot and sweet peppers together. And it's gonna seem a little unorthodox, but pick your 2 favorite fruit cups and put them in your food processor. Mine is pineapple and cherry. So and I think there's a little bit of mango in here too. So I've put that in there. This is sort of loosey-goosey. You choose whatever flavors work for you. But we're gonna add your peppers here to this mix, and this is going to be the sweet and the hot with the sweet. So we're just going to mix that up right now. All right, so let's give this a whirl. Awesome. So the pineapple juice and everything, of course, is mixing with the peppers, which is awesome. And then what you're gonna add to that, guys, is you're gonna add onion. I have half a cup of onion here, and I have about 3 garlic cloves. So that's the next thing you want to add, and then we're gonna give that a whirl too. Cut off here. Relish is not relish without onion. Make sure that this is all in here. All right, let's give this a whirl. You don't want to do it too much because you don't want mush, you want relish. So as you can see, the onion bits are all starting to mix in. And the next thing that you want to do if you're looking at making a sweet and spicy relish is you want to add some vinegar to it, obviously, because if you're going to can it later, then it needs something to keep it acidified. So you're looking at adding about half a cup of apple cider vinegar, and you're also going to add to that about a 1/4 cup of sugar, just so that we can make sure that after we're done making this that we can can it. And so now what we're gonna do is, once we've added in all of our stuff, so we've got our, our pineapple juice or whatever that you're gonna be using, your fruit cups in there, we've got our onion, and we've got all of our peppers. What we're gonna do is we are going to put this into the slow cooker, and we're gonna let this slowly cook down for a couple of hours. And then that way what you can do is, if you got something else to do like I do, you can go ahead and get that done and then let this slowly cook down. And then we will put the finishing touches on it just before dinner. Okay, so I've taken the food processor down off the mixer. So this should be the consistency of your relish for right now until you boil it down. It's gonna make your kitchen smell super awesome. Okay, so basically all you're gonna do at this point is you're gonna put your slow cooker to just normal, regular, and you're gonna dump in your relish. Let that slow cook for, I would say, about 2 to 3 hours, and come back and check it, because you wanna cook it down a little bit. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna thicken it up. Now, it's up to you. You don't have to thicken it up if you don't want to. We kind of like our hot pepper jelly / jam a little bit thicker, but it's up to you. But I'm gonna let this sit here for a couple of hours and do its thing, and come back to it, and then hopefully can it. A little bit hard to see, but we definitely have some smoking going on here. So I'm just gonna fill this back up. Put that in there. Fill that back up, and then continue on with the smoking. But it's at 300 right now, which is where I want it. Let's check on the ham. Oh, yeah. Excellent. All right, let's leave her in there for another 3 hours. Perfect. Coffee break time. I'm just back out to check the ham here. Now we're into hour 2.5. So let's see now. I've opened the door to just quickly make sure that I'm not going to get splattered with smoke when I open it, just to show you how the ham looks. There we go. So it's doing well. It's cooking down. Still a little while, probably a couple more hours to go, but it's doing really, really well. I'm happy with that. Oh gosh, it looks so good. Okay, let's close her back up before we lose all our heat, and keep on going. Just gonna move the wood forward here. See, what happens is when you push this forward, it moves your wood pieces, and that's how it creates your smoke. All right, we'll be back in a little bit. Check it out. All right, and let's check our relish here. Ooh, let's see that looks good. Really cool looking. I love the colors in it. So this is doing really, really well too. Just take some of it out so you can see the hot. You can smell actually the hot peppers in here. You know, the kind that when you open up something, it clears your nostrils. Woohoo! It's going to be hot. Anyway, so yep, doing really, really well. we'll let it simmer down a little bit more while our ham is doing its thing, and we'll see what happens. Okay, so this baby is done. Ooh, it's very caramelly looking. Oops. Check that out. I don't know if you can even see in the light. Let's just move on out here. Ah, that's better. Doesn't that look great? So it was in the smoker for about 5 hours. It's got the nice barbecue, you know, the sauce on it, plus the brown sugar crust that I was talking about earlier. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go in and we're going to slice it up, have some mashed potatoes with it, some honeyed carrots, and go from there. Oh yes, and broccolini. Got to put that in there. So guys, I just picked this fresh broccolini out of the greenhouse. So we are going to toss this in the pan and we're going to saute it. Broccolini is very tiny, skinny sort of broccoli. This is why you get so much broccoli off it over the summer. Really sweet when you saute it, and just add a little bit of salt to it and you're good to go. So basically we just take a bunch of it and we toss it into the pan. Now we're going to wait for the pan to heat up, and then we're just going to saute it for 5 minutes, and then we're going to add it onto the plate with our ham. And that's it. Now on to our relish. First off, what you're going to do is, this relish is, oh my goodness, it's amazing smelling. While my broccolini is sort of sauteing in the background, what you're going to do is you're going to just take this off a slow cook and just cancel it, and then you're going to saute, and actually we're going to put it down to saute less, and we're just going to let it sort of cook down and boil down a little bit. And what we're going to do is, if you want it thick like a jam, you can add your a little bit of pectin if you want to, or you can just leave it as is and just let it boil down and just be sort of just a plain relish, but it won't be thick. So I'm going to add pectin to mine when I'm ready, and then I'm going to throw it probably in a couple of pints, because we won't obviously eat this much relish this evening, and put it away. And the broccolini is doing its thing. So we're almost done, guys. Okay, so we're starting to finally see some action here with the boiling. You're just going to add your little bit of pectin, and you're going to stir it in just like you normally would if you're using the pectin. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to turn this off, and we're going to let it just stay warm a little bit. I just want the pectin to set, and then we're going to start putting it in the jars and canning it. Okay, so our jam jelly is set. So what we're going to be doing is just now starting to fill the jars. It smells amazing. You gotta try it. It is messy, I will give it that. It smells good. And as you know, everyone that does do the canning out there, that we only fill within an inch of where you need to be, just at the top. You don't fill any more. I always find that if I fill too much, sometimes what happens is it can explode. It'll overflow in the while you're canning it. So it looks like probably about 3 pints are going to be, well, I might have, 4 pints might be good. We'll see if I get 4 pints out of it. So I'm going to just continue filling these. I've only got the 2 more to go. And then what we'll do is we will toss them into the canner to process. You're going to want to process these for 15 minutes in the water bath canner. And then you'll have your 4 little pints of relish. So we're almost at the finish line, but beautiful relish, lovely colors, and it has a bite. But I'm sure it's going to taste great with the ham. Okay, so let's get that done. Okay guys, so don't even need to cut this. This actually just falls right off of the bone, the ham. And if you want, what you can do while you're putting stuff together is we can add more sauce if you want to do that, and let that sit there and sort of marinate in it until we're ready to actually get everything else on the plates and ready to go. But yeah, nope, the ham is, it just looks awesome. Really super pleased with the smoking aspect of it. But the barbecue sauce really helps it too though. Okay, let's put some plates together. Here is our pepper jelly, guys. So, just add it onto our plate. Got to taste test a little bit before I take too much. So there's our broccolini, our potatoes, our honey carrots, and our smoked ham that we made today with the barbecue sauce that we made. So there you go. That part of it is done, and I am ready to eat while I'm waiting for the canned relish to finish. Came out really great. And there we have it, guys. We ended up by getting 4 pints out of the Peppery goodness jam. That's what I'm gonna call it. This is still hot, it's still bubbling inside as you can see, and yeah, so basically it'll just cool down now and get put on my shelf for the winter. So I hope you guys have enjoyed the day with me making the ham and then doing everything else and then ending up with 4 pints of pepper jelly at the end of the day. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up or subscribe, or please feel free to ask me any questions. Thanks for watching. See you soon.